Hello, welcome to Transform the Now. I'm Dr. Nathan Pallai, and I'm with Dr. Tucker Boyle. And that sounds really pretentious starting out here, but I gotta stop, man. I'm gonna edit that. I don't know if I can pull that off, but
Yeah, I don't know if I can allow you to call me Dr.
maybe we just say in that I'll just try again. Hi, welcome to Transform the Now. I'm Nathan Pallai, and I'm with my friend Tucker Boyle.
What's
And
up, Nate?
hi, man. And here's the thing, guys. This is going to be real. This is if you're looking for something super polished and highly produced and sounds in the background, you're probably in the wrong place. But we are here to help you live a completely new way of life. A way of life that is full of peace, light, joy, and happiness. And let us just tell you a little bit about why that is and how that works. So, Tucker, why don't you talk for a little bit about why we're doing this and how it started out for you?
Yeah, you bet. We're doing this because Nate and I have had some conversations of late of transformations that have happened in our own lives, in our life journeys that have just changed everything for us. I've spent a lot of my career teaching, even teaching spiritual things. And just of late, I've found some transformative practices that really just make my day to day so much more rich and joyful and full. And as Nate and I have been talking, we thought, I wonder if we can just get this out there and see what happens. Honestly, this is a moment of creation where we're wondering what happens. Does this get legs and where does it go? And we just hope it gets legs because we hope that people feel the joy, light, the love, the connection that we've experienced as we've found some spiritual practices that have just given our life more meaning and joy and direction. So we're just excited for this moment of creation to get it out there. So Nate and I, we both did PhDs at the same place, and we've had conversations. We studied leadership. I became fascinated with the concept of transformational leadership and just transformation in general of how we take life as it is right now in this moment and infuse things in it to just transform it into something way bigger and better than what we had beforehand. So does that help, Nate?
Yeah, well, and just like we said, like between the two of us, we have nearly 40 years of teaching experience, trying to help people have better lives and better experiences, and the leadership aspect there. And if I'm just real from my life, that for all growing up and even into my adult life, I've had deep anxiety. And it kind of came to a big head during COVID, some really crippling things almost. And I came across some practices that really have been effective in my life. And that we've talked about it. We had lunch about it probably the first time a couple of years ago, and then have since been practicing some of these things that we're going to talk to you about. And here's where I'm at. I just care about what works, man. And for me, this has transformed my day to day. Like I feel better. I feel happier. I feel more connected to those around me. I feel like the world is a good place, not a place that's out to get me. And I'm excited about that, and I want more people to have that. And so that's where I'm at here.
Yeah, beautiful, Nate. Thanks. And for me, it's been a similar journey. I've had my share of anxiety and fears. In fact, I think I was operating my life based on other people's expectations and kind of conforming to what I'm a people pleaser by nature, right? And I was just trying to make everybody else around me happy and living in with a lot of stress because of that. And since discovering some of these transformative practices that we'll talk about, things have changed a lot. And honestly, before I was trying to please others, and it's not that I'm not trying to please others now, but I'm living in a new way that is more pleasing to myself and others because I'm not just trying to conform. Does that make sense? It's like this
Oh yeah.
paradox. Like I stopped trying to like please everybody, and now I can live with this natural joy and love. Let me, if I can just share a quick experience, like years ago, I had an experience where I was driving down the road and I saw a man walking down the road that I had come across a few times that for whatever reason just grated on me. And this man, if I were to pick one person on planet Earth that was the hardest for me to like bring into my heart and accept, it was this guy. He would persecute people, yell at people, and I would see him in different situations and places that just I had a hard time with every time I saw him. But this particular day, I had just engaged in some spiritual practices that had totally changed me, opened my heart, and I was seeing the world differently. I was looking around, feeling connected to everyone and everything. This flow of love and joy, connection, happiness, and joy was just in and through me. I didn't know what was happening, and it's hard to describe even now. But as I was driving down the street and I saw this man that I'd seen many times before, I had a totally different reaction. I was like, I love that guy. He's living his life the best he knows how. He's bold, he's courageous. I started to see good in this person that I had seen only evil in before. And it was an out-of-body experience. It stopped me short. And I thought, what is happening right now? Like, why am I having this expansive love for him when before I've never felt anything like this? And since that day, I've become fascinated with getting to that place and space where I feel that love and goodness flowing through me, and finding ways to be there more frequently and more fully. And I think I've found some things, and I'm passionate about finding more practices that help me live in that way more consistently. And I'm excited, Nate, that we're going to try this, and we're going to see if we can throw out some ideas and practical ways that people really feel more connection, love, and live in that state of spiritual flow that just makes life amazing. Like, you might even find that doing the laundry becomes a spiritual experience, or just the normal things do.
So yeah, I think that's where we're at, right? Like, is that this can be something you receive. This can be something that flows through you, like you're saying. You look like you have something else you're gonna say. What were we gonna say right there?
I was going to say, my wife's about to walk in the door, and she didn't know we were recording. So that's all.
Okay.
You keep going.
With this, we are saying that this is something you can receive, and it can be a part of you. Like, I felt it. There's real, actual, tangible power that can come flow into your life, and this is a spiritual thing. Now, a lot of times when we talk about spirituality or religion, this carries some weight and sometimes some baggage for you. And we want you to know that wherever you're coming from in your background, we can help you connect with something bigger. Whatever your definition of religion is, or non-religion, just try it out. We're asking you to do this experiment and to see what happens in your life as you try some of these things out. See what happens to the way you feel, the light you feel, the connection you feel, and just know that we're here to support you on this journey wherever you're at. We're not necessarily prescribing you going one way or another, but try out some things that will connect you to this higher state.
Yeah, well said. Like, this isn't a belief system that we're trying to put forward. What we want to do is suggest some spiritual practices and work through them that will help you go more deeply into whatever you are currently practicing and experiencing. As far as you can be coming from a religious background, non-religious background, a spiritual background, or just hesitancy about the word spiritual at all. Because there's so many different ideas and systems that connect to these and conceptualize them in different ways. What we are going to try to do, and I'm going to say try because it's even hard to articulate, but we are concerned with connecting you to spirituality so that you can experience transformation itself. And so we might use some words and terms and things that you're like, okay, I got to change that term out. But we are going to try to help you connect to source. Maybe your source is God, maybe it's the universe, maybe it's nature, but this greater source for spirituality. And we'll try not to get caught up in terms and definitions. What we want to be able to do is for you to be able to share this with anybody, even somebody that is coming from a totally different place than you. I have a lot of friends, family, loved ones that, as far as belief systems go, they're coming from a very different place. But man, I want to share this transformational stuff. And so we're going to try to transcend belief systems in delivering this so that anybody can plug and play these practices and find transformation, find more connection, joy, love, and peace in their life. Does that sound just undoable? Are we talking like bigger than possible? Maybe we are, but that's what we want to do. We want to make this accessible to every human on the planet. If you breathe, we want to be able to help you breathe with more joy. If you eat, we want you to be able to taste the food with more happiness and more treasuring that experience. We really believe that we have some spiritual practices here that can take whatever your current life experience is and transform it into something more beautiful, more broad, more joyful. So that's the goal.
Right. And we're with you here on this journey. That, like, these are things that we're practicing, we're learning, we're growing on, and that's why we're passionate about it, because we're practicing it and we're feeling an actual tangible difference in ourselves. And we just want you to come along for the ride. We want you to come hang out, want you to be part of it.
Yeah, and I don't claim to be at the end of any road, but traveling along one, right? Where I am so excited with the newness of this. I once heard that people have an easier time learning from others who are closer to their learning level or closer to their experience. Like, for example, in college, it might be easier to learn from a tutor that's a peer in a calculus class than it is a professor that's been teaching calculus for 40 years. That nearness, that proximity can really be helpful. And we hope that that's the experience here. Like, I'm not this old wise sage that knows all, but I am an excited peer that has experienced something. And I really am passionate about sharing that experience and maybe helping others experience it too.
And if you're listening on this, like we talked a little bit about our experience, but we don't need you to be thinking, oh, I've got to be an expert on this or that. Like, we want you just to listen to your intuitive experience of life. We want you just to start feeling this out for yourself. Start feeling what comes as you explore these ideas. You don't need to think about this if that makes sense, or even become an expert on this, but just like, you are an expert on you, and we can just explore this idea together a little bit, and that's okay.
Yeah, well said. A fascinating thing about this spiritual path is that it's not an endeavor of knowledge like many other academic pursuits are, or it is learning by experience. And like you said, it's a very intuitive progression. So it's different than anything else. The spiritual path works almost completely uniquely from the way of gaining knowledge works in other ways. And we'll explore that more in the future. But just come along for the ride. We invite you to try some of the things that we'll throw out, and we'll explore this together.
Okay, so what so you can know kind of what's coming up in future podcasts and future posting here. We're going to try and lay a foundation over the next couple of weeks on what this spiritual path consists of, some basic things that you will notice and see, and then some practices that can go along with it. So if you want to jump in with us next time, we're going to take a look at our minds and our spirits and the interactions there and what we can learn on that front. Anything to say before we conclude or close this one, Tucker?
Well, should we conclude this with a spiritual practice that you can try right now and see if there's something that comes from it?
Amen.
We'll try to throw these things out each podcast in some way, something to try and practice. Well, here's one for right here, right now. We talk about transforming the now. Let's do that. I invite you to be fully present in this current moment. Almost push pause on your life and your life situation. You don't have to physically stop, but maybe mentally, spiritually, psychologically stop for a moment. I know there's a lot going on in your life situation. The world has plenty to throw at us right now, but I'm going to invite you to mentally pause and look around you, wherever you're at. Maybe you're in your car, maybe you're at home, maybe you're alone somewhere, maybe you're with a group of people. But I invite you to pause and look at your surroundings and find beauty, find sacredness, find this space in your soul where you can treasure what you're seeing and experiencing and taking in a way that you've never thought to cherish it before. You might stop and touch something and just experience the physicality of that thing. And just get caught up in the awe of the moment. Like, you are alive. You have a body. That thing is amazing. It gives you experience in the world. It gives you touch and smell and sight and hearing and so many of these gifts to experience this incredible world and this incredible life that we're going through together. And we're sitting on a planet that is hurtling through space in this vast universe, headed to who knows where. And we have this current moment that we will never experience again. And I just invite you to stop and feel the beauty and sacredness of it. Like, this is unbelievable what we get to experience in this life. It's beyond words, beyond description. And I just invite you to stop and soak it in for a moment.
Man, I'm going to witness as you were talking. I did it, man. I looked around the room. I felt my body. I looked out the window right in front of me, and a little girl across the street runs across, like perfectly timed in fairy wings. And I was like, this life.
What? That's beautiful.
And then my boy walked by with a hammer. I don't know what he's doing there. But just the magic of this moment is so sacred and fun. But I love that description there. So I'm witnessing to it.
Well, can I ask you this, Nate? What does that do for you personally when you stop, and what changes in your life experience when you have that happen?
Like a bobber on a fishing line, like it's almost like my soul pops up a little bit. Like I don't even have to do anything for it, but it just pops up. And like it opens up and just almost instantly feels more light in contrast to the heaviness, and in a feeling of tangible light in me, like it feels hopeful and happy. And maybe that I don't know, that's really what it feels like. It feels like things are going to be good in that moment.
Well, that's a beautiful description of it. And I feel the same. There's something about waking into this present moment and the sacredness of it, where it does something for us, for our souls, that we can't get in other ways. I think all of humanity, every human longs for that fullness, that joy, that sacredness of the present that you just expressed. And we just hope that on this journey together, that can become something that you and I and Nate learn to experience more and more. Life will become more full, more rich, and more hopeful. And even the moment sitting there watching a little girl in fairy wings, actually, that's pretty magical. Did you like somehow that timing of that is amazing. But even the normal things can turn into the sacred. And we really believe that your relationships will become more rich and full. Your impact in the world will increase. Your joy of life will multiply. So we're excited to take this journey with you and see where this goes.
Okay, friends, we'll see you next time. Thank you.